If you'd like to learn how to create a marbled effect like this on cookies, this is the video for you. Hey bakers, it's Angela from Bake Angel, and today I'm going to walk you through how easy it is to dip cookies in royal icing, and also how to make the marble effect too that you saw right at the start of this video. So here I have a jug of flood consistency royal icing. Now I have mine in a jug, but you could do it in a bowl or in a plate, whatever you prefer. I just happen to have made a small batch of icing in this. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick up my cookie. You dip it in ever so slightly and then just kind of jiggle it back and forth so the excess icing naturally comes off of it. You can slightly scrape it against the side of your bowl as well. And then I'm just using my scribe tool to tidy it up a little bit. We had a little bit of a runoff there at the bottom, but that one is done. If you do see any bubbles starting to appear straight away, just pop them with your scribe tool and then you can carry on and keep dipping your cookies. This is such an easy technique if you're not a fan of flooding cookies by hand. And one thing I should recommend is that when you do have it in your bowl, just give it a couple of taps on the counter every so often to make sure that as any air bubbles rise to the surface of the icing, they'll actually burst so that you'll have a little less bursting to do once the icing is on the cookie. So this is my first two done. Now we're going to move over to showing you how to do the marble effect. And this is really simple. So you just want to pick another color of your food coloring. For this one, I decided to choose violet, and then I'm just going to add a couple of drops of it to my pink icing and swirl it around with my scribe tool. That's as simple as it is. So you could do any number of colors, any different designs even if you wanted to, and then just go right ahead and dip your cookie in it. Give it that little bit of a jiggle back and forth to get the excess off, and then turn it over and pop it on your tray. Look how amazing that is. What I love about the marble technique is that every single cookie you make is going to be completely different. So if you're wanting to do them as accent cookies for a cookie set, it's a great way just to add a little bit of extra interest to your icing and extra pops of color as well. So you could go ahead and add more color to it, or as you can see here, I just decided to mix it all together and make a really nice violet colored icing. And then I'm going to go ahead and just dip a couple more cookies with it. Now, of course, because we're using flood consistency icing here, you do want to leave them on the tray and not move them around too much because that icing could get a little bit disturbed. If you have a dehydrator, you could pop your cookies on that and then put your cookies in the dehydrator to help it crust over a little bit quicker. And I just recommend if you've got icing with meringue powder in it, these should crust over fairly quickly. You do actually end up using a little less icing on your cookies this way than if you actually flooded them by hand with a piping bag. So it's a great technique, as you can see. This took no time at all. I actually just sped this up a tiny amount so that you weren't staring at it for too long, but you can see how quickly they come together. Now, once these crusted over, I decided to just finish them off with a little bit of the heart outline. So I'm using a thicker consistency icing here. This is a medium consistency, and I just popped it in my tipless bag and cut a small piece off the end to replicate about a tip 2 size. So you could do this with a tip if you wanted to, but I like doing this with a tipless bag because you just snip that end off and you're good to go with your piping. If you have any little peaks that appear in your lines when you're piping, you can just use a scribe tool just to tap those down. And also if any of your icing is slightly out of shape, you can do that as well. And I think it's a great way to decorate cookies. Very quick and very easy. If you're not confident at piping, it's still a really nice way to have a few different things going on with your cookie, and it creates lots of interest to look at as well. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to have a go at this technique, and let me know what you think of the marble technique as well. What sort of color combinations would you come up with? And what else would you do with these cookies? You could add transfers, you could actually splatter some dust or gold paint on them, or even paint the actual heart outlines as well. I think that would look really, really cute. So there we go, there's our 6 cookies done. So we used the dip-in technique for all 6 of them and the marble technique on the middle ones just to give that little bit of extra pop of colour. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this tutorial. Make sure you check out the other cookie decorating tutorials that I have on my channel. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on my next video.